Prophetess Cebile, 7750 Media. Advocate Francis, who was the legal representative for the self-appointed protector of all big and important people on the planet, argued that all of the legal proceedings that have been brought against me since 2018, as well as the criminal case, were for the sole purpose of stopping me from publishing anything. As I said, according to Detective Sithole and Isaac Masete, I am also not supposed to be on any social media platform posting anything. As far as Magistrate Nair's dismissal of my protection order application is concerned, whatever warped reasoning she followed, I know who and what has protected my life from the various attempts of murder she wrote, or whatever other schemes of trying to use the medical profession to put me in a mental institution. At Genesis chapter 48, verse 16 in the Amplified, Jacob says, the redeeming angel, the Redeemer, not a created being, but the Lord himself, who has redeemed me continually from evil. In Job chapter 19, verse 25, in the Amplified, Job says, for I know that my Redeemer and my Vindicator lives. And at last, he, the last one, will stand upon the earth. To my surprise, shortly before Magistrate Nair brought the proceedings to a close, she uttered that if the royal family have a concern, they must follow the correct processes and procedures, or something of that nature, and that is on record. Obviously, if, for instance, I were to get the court record transcribed, it is on record. The truth is that she seemed to have made up her mind, even before the matter was argued, that she was not going to grant me the protection order. It is possible that she gave Advocate Francis a favorable outcome because they are of the same race group, and they may even be of the same religion. But it is also possible that Isaac Masete and the dazzling bribe were still at play. There's a lot that goes on in the courtrooms, and God knows that. Whatever the case, God is not mocked. The royal family that were being mentioned are the royal family of Lesotho. To this end, on Friday, the 27th of September 2024, Swaziland News published a breaking news story under the caption Politics. And it said, Swaziland News editor Zweli Martin Dlamini wins Mpumalanga High Court defamation case against King Mswati and the Eswatini government. And they were ordered to pay the costs, including the senior advocate that was acting for Swaziland News. The article by Musa Mdluli details how the king and his government took the editor to court, claiming that he was consistently publishing defamatory articles against the monarchy and the government of Eswatini. I think they also did say that the articles were offensive and defamatory, right? The editor, through his South African advocate, Myron Durance, vigorously defended the matter, saying that the articles were of vital public interest and that the application was meant to systematically silence the publication as the independent voice of the Eswatini people. Acting Mpumalanga High Court Judge Johannes Hendrikas Rulofse dismissed the king's application with costs. I was, of course, aware of this case, but the reason that I am talking about it today is because when I contacted the Freedom of Expression Institute, informing them that I was being threatened and intimidated with the names of King Ltd III and the royal family of Lesotho, as well as King Mswati III, they informed me that they had purposed to join themselves as a friend of the cause with Swaziland News editor Zweli Martin Dlamini in that case. Swaziland News editor Zweli Martin Dlamini commented saying they thought he wouldn't have the capacity to fight, but he thanked his legal team for winning the case. But above all, he said, "I thank God. It's a miracle to be persecuted in this manner and still win cases against a cruel government and a king." So that is what Swaziland News editor said when he received the news of his victory. Some time ago, I posted an article asking a question. Lesotho is a supposed democracy. Eswatini has an absolute monarchy. In terms of human rights violations, what is the fundamental difference between the two? I deleted my post whilst I was dealing with the prosecutor of bribery and corruption, Isaac Masete, and I was also still waiting for the outcome of my application to set aside the protection order of November 2018 that had been procured under the Domestic Violence Act, in which I had been accused of treason against the king and the royal family of Lesotho. Zweli Martin Dlamini has fought his battles with the king and the government of Eswatini. And God has opened more doors for him internationally and even globally. The point is that the size of the enemy reveals the size of the destiny. Jeremiah 29:11 in the Passion, Yahweh says, "I know all about the marvelous destiny I have in store for you, a future planned out in detail. My intention is not to harm you, but to surround you with peace and prosperity, and to give you a beautiful future glistening with hope." I actually spoke to Zweli Martin Dlamini during November 2024. At the time, I got arrested after being threatened about the contents of Ashley Madison type data. And because I stated that God guided me through dreams of Aleister Crowley and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose sex addictions are well documented in both the media and other writings, as to what to expect in my own life. There are thousands of books written about Aleister Crowley, and thousands more are written about the Kennedys. Even the British royal family has not been able to stop people from writing extensively about them. If the sole purpose of the criminal charge sheet that was delivered here by Detective Sithole on the 17th of July is to stop me from exercising my democratic right to engage in the work that I am doing, it is too little and too late. On the 1st of October 2024, Sunday World published an article titled "The Mbombela Division of the Mpumalanga High Court has dismissed a significant part of a defamation case brought on behalf of King Mswati III." Zweli Martin Dlamini has been on the news consistently fighting his cause. And it goes without saying that he's been arrested a few times as well. When God has given you an assignment, you will certainly fight for it. Zweli Martin Dlamini won the case despite the claims that the articles he had published were offensive and defamatory about the king and the government of Eswatini. I have likewise taken all steps and actions that the Lord has guided me to take, and with the precedent of the victory won by Swaziland news editor Zweli Martin Dlamini, I remain fixed on Jesus Christ, my fourth man in the fire, time and time again. And I am now going to leave this here. Thank you for listening.